Hey world, it's being able to come back with another video. In fact, I want to come back with this video because, like I said, it's mid-November, tax time coming up again, and I just want to kind of give a little food for thought on some ways that you can lower your taxable income, things that we don't really kind of think about as a community, because the discrepancies are just so great. When there's a systemic agenda, and you have to be like just really, and I use this word all the time, family. If you've been in the garden for a long time, you heard me use cognitive dissonance, for the last couple of years, because we have to be cognitively dissonant to not know that there's a systemic agenda nationwide in every one of these countries in America, because they call them states, but they're countries. Every one of these 51 countries have their own rules they follow. But the one rule that is pretty consistent across the board is that if you go to their states, there is a huge discrepancy in Afro-melanated employment, Afro-melanated home ownership, Afro-melanated median wealth discrepancies. You can't tell me that almost in every country in America that we are the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to median wealth, median income, when it comes to home ownership, okay? When it comes to, scholarship admissions from different, organizations. And like I told you before, NAACP and UNICEF, I never received, I don't know anybody who received any assistance from these particular 501c3 organizations. But I can tell you this, it's the reason why the discrepancy is so great in every state, i.e. country in America. And so what do we have to do to combat that? How can we, use some of these things that we already know to our advantage? Well, the first thing we got to understand is we have to understand our taxes and how we can reduce our taxes. I know back in the game, in H-Town, you had people that were doing your taxes and they were able to, get your money back, get your refund. And that's all we consider. That's all we were concerned with. Majority of people understand that, listen, if I have me a kid, I had a household, whatnot, but it was only based on, child care. We have a dependent. You can reduce your taxes as well using other revenues by paying yourself first. Now, I know it's difficult for a lot of individuals because you have to, in order to take advantage of what I'm going to talk about, it has to be available for you. I can tell you right off the cuff that if the median income for Afro-melanated families across the nation like $40,000-$45,000 a year, then we definitely can take advantage of some of these taxable or some of these tax deductions by paying ourselves first. But it won't happen if we continue to be consumers. We can't be consumers before we're wealthy. We can't be consumers until you understand the difference between disposable income and personal disposable income, right? See, we want to make sure that our PDI, our personal disposable income, can get us everything that our hearts desire, right? Without jeopardizing our lifestyle in reference to our responsibilities. And so what that means, you have to either not pay as much in taxes every year or have investments where it's paying you either in dividends, interest, coupons with bonds, rental properties, okay? Capital gains when it comes to selling stocks at a high price after buying at a low price. That's additional income. So how can you reduce your taxes? I'm going to talk about two ways today, family. And I've talked about it in the past, but I just can't reiterate enough how important it is to, when I say pay yourself first, we got to understand it ain't just putting your money in a savings account or putting your money under your pillow. It's not gaining any value. Two things that you can do, family. The first thing is open up a health savings account. Okay, a health savings account right off the cuff, you reduce your taxes by $2,500. So let's say this year you do your taxes and you owe $1,300, $2,000 in taxes. Well, just imagine if you the one on and contribute throughout the year, and remind you, you have until April 15th of 2021 to put $2,500 in a health savings account so that could be tax deductible and it's your money. You don't necessarily have to have medical conditions. Does it help you if you have pre-existing condition to have that extra change? Yes. But if you take care of yourself, because remember, your health is your wealth. If you take care of yourself, then that money that you're placing in your HSA every year, it's just gaining interest and it's there. And you will have access to that money at the age of 59 and a half years old. So now imagine if you're 30 years old, 40 years old, you open up a health savings account and you put $2,500 in there every year, depending on, when they change the tax structures right now. But right now, it's $2,500 a year that you can deduct from your taxes. You dig? And these are taxes that can be deducted without having to itemize. Okay? A lot of times you have to itemize these taxes, itemize your deduction in order to take advantage of a lot of, like, if you own a home, you want to mortgage, your mortgage interest, your mortgage insurance premiums, depreciation, stuff like that, that you can deduct from an itemized deduction standpoint. But if you don't have that many things to itemize, then you take the standard and then you also reduce your taxable income by opening up your health savings account, by contributing to what they call an individual retirement account, which is an IRA, a Roth account, or traditional. Now, there are some stipulations, and this is why I say, financial literacy is important. If you make less than $70,000, or your AGI, or your MAGI, AGI family is your adjusted gross income. This is after, this is on your tax form. You can find your AGI on your tax form, okay? But your modified AGI is done, you have to do that yourself. And that's where, like paying yourself first with the health savings account, paying yourself first with the traditional or Roth IRA contributions. Now, of course, if you're making over $110,000 single or $250,000 at a family or a couple, then a lot of these deductions you're not going to be able to take advantage of because it phases you out. So you have to ask yourself, why are they phasing us out if we're trying to save for our future? Exactly. It's only two groups of people that they really look out for. That's the poor that can't take care of themselves, and then that's the mega rich, because they know all of this stuff. It's the middle class families, the ones that, have professional jobs that are able to pay their bills, right? But just can't quite get over the top for all this being able to leave their loved ones, generational wealth because all the taxes, all the other responsibilities. And that's why it's important that knowing this type of stuff from a taxable deduction standpoint can be very beneficial, as well as investing. Shout out to Texas Made family. There are different things. My boy Texas Made mentioned, he asked me about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, and which one do I feel would be a better investment opportunity. I can tell you this. Blockchain is the infrastructure for cryptocurrency and digital currency. Without a blockchain infrastructure, you can't do cryptocurrency or you can't do Bitcoin and stuff, because how do you think they are created? Okay, it's not in a bank. Okay, so what are they in? They're in computerized blockchains. And so the companies that are creating these particular exclusive blockchains are going to be the ones that I would definitely look into investing in. Okay, Bank of America, all the major banks, they are dipping into blockchain. Okay, as well as digital currency, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, myself, family, it's just like any other investment opportunity. If you invest $2,000 in Bitcoin when it first came out, well, that $2,000 is worth more now. Okay? And so don't ever think, family, that you cannot ever afford a particular stocks or particular investment instruments. Because whatever you have to invest, then that's what you're looking to build your profit on. And give you an example. A lot of people think they can't afford Apple stock, right? Because right now Apple is like $110, $115, or Google stock. Well, guess what? If you invest $3,000 or $4,000 in one of these particular stocks, it doesn't matter how many shares of stock you buy. It only matters of how high and well the stock does. So if you're buying the stock at this price and you got $3,000 and you invested $3,000 in Apple stock, when Apple rises, your $3,000 rises. And I promise you're going to get way more than that than putting it in a bank. Okay? So, family, let me just to reiterate, do your research on tax deductions and how to reduce taxable income. And one of the surefire ways right now, family, is to look into opening up an IRA, an individual retirement account, a Roth account, or traditional, right? As well as contributing to a health savings account, because that's your money. And if you don't have any pre-existing medical conditions or medical conditions that require you to spend a lot of money every year, then that's going to be your money. That's going to be a future investment, just like life insurance as well. And don't sleep on life insurance, family. All right? I'm going to come back with a video, family, about something that really, really disturbed me. I don't want to talk about it right now because I want to make sure I give this a whole session in the garden. And it's going to be about how many people right now, all over the world, are taking fake, counterfeit pharmaceutical drugs. And it's well known around the world. And then you have to ask yourself, how is it that so many people are dying when they have medication? Okay. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this origin. We're going to talk about where it's coming from and why they're not doing anything about it. All right. So, family, thank you for joining me in the garden. Appreciate you getting this food for thought. Make sure you digest it. Make sure you go ahead and make it a positive aspect in your life. And in the meantime, between time, may the Most High Inside bring you joy and being with us out of 5,000.